And we're going to go to Proverbs 31. So if you're not driving, you can tap in with me. Or you can write it down for later. It's just Proverbs 31. I don't know the verse yet. I got to look at it first. Hold on. Proverbs 31. Okay. Let's read the whole thing. Proverbs 31, starting at verse 10 and going to 31. So it's a read, but we need to read. So let's go to a different version. I've been reading the Life Application Bible lately. So, okay. Proverbs 31, verse 10 says, "Who can find a wife of noble character? She is far more precious than jewels. The heart of her husband entrusts in her, and he will not lack anything good. She rewards him with good, not evil, all the days of her life. She selects wool and flax and works with willing hands. She is like merchant ships, bringing her food from far away." So this woman, she's going out and getting not only food for her house, but she's getting the best food. Because I really want to break it down to y'all so y'all can understand this. She's going and she's getting the best food for her house. She's getting and going and getting the farm to table food. She's going and getting the organic food. So she's not only supplying her household with food, but she's going and getting the best of the best, because her husband deserves the best. Her children deserve the best. Her parents deserve the best. Her siblings deserve the best. So this is a woman who has this nurturing aspect to her. So let's keep reading. She rises while it is still night and provides food for her household and portions for her female servants. So this is someone who is an early riser. She has vision. She is prepared, okay? She's getting up before the rest of her household is even up. And she's fixing, whatever. Maybe she's meal prepping. Maybe she's meal prepping and she's doing breakfast, lunch, and dinner, because we're going to make this practical today. Because I really want something to click for y'all today. So she's going out, she's waking up while it's still night. She just went to Whole Foods. She's got all of her nice groceries in the fridge, and now she's coming and putting it all together. And she's taking everything and she's meal prepping it into those nice little containers so that when her children are hungry, that's not the moment that she decides, I'm going to cook something. No, she's already prepared food for them to make everything a little bit easier for everybody. And so when her children are saying, "Mommy, I'm hungry," she's already got everything prepared that she needs to have. And so all she has to do is take it out of the fridge and present it to them, or warm it up or heat it up, whatever she needs to do. And so she not only prepares for her household, but she prepares for her female servants. She's preparing for her employees. So she's going out of her way now. She's not just providing for just her household. She's providing for those who serve her in some capacity. Her assistant, her employees, people that she benefits from, because they help her with day-to-day tasks. So this is a woman who has help. She has a community. She has a village. Maybe she has somebody that's helping her with the children when she's out at work. And she's taking the time to do a kind deed for even them. So say she has somebody that's watching her kids throughout the week while she's at work at certain times. And instead of just prepping food for her child, now she's going out of the way to be gracious. And because this person is watching her children, she's preparing food for them too. So that's why she's a woman of noble character, right? And then we have, She evaluates a field and buys it. So we talked about this last week. She evaluates a field and buys it, and she plants a vineyard with her earnings. This is a woman who she looks at something, and because God has given her the wisdom and she fears the Lord, which is the beginning of wisdom, now she sees the potential in things. Now she sees how this land can benefit for generations to come. And so now she can execute the vision because she's a visionary that God has given her. And she draws on her strength. I don't like that part. She draws on the strength of God, but I just don't like how they worded it. So sometimes you got to go back to, let me go back to NKJV. Let me see what NKJV is saying about that verse, because it's not our strength that we depend upon. She girds herself with strength. So she girds herself with the strength of the Lord, because apart from the Lord, we can do nothing. And the Lord is the only way that we can do things for a sustainable amount of time. You may be able to keep it up for a little minute, a week, 30 days I give you on your own strength or less. And then you'll start to get burnout. You'll start to get weary. You'll start to get emotional because you feel like, this is just too much and it's overwhelming. But when you depend upon the strength of the Lord, you might still feel like things are overwhelming, but the Lord will then gird you with strength that you didn't even know that you had to complete what He's asked you to do. So then we have, she perceives that her merchandise is good and her lamp does not go out by night. So this is not a woman who, she's a businesswoman, but she's not a woman who's just selling anything just to make $1. She is perceiving that her merchandise is good. It has the ability to sustain. It has the ability to be sustainable. It has the ability to add value to people's lives. It has the ability to be beneficial to someone's life. Instead of just her selling something cheap because it's cheap and she can raise it up to a sky high price so that she can make a profit, she's able to justify, thank you, Holy Spirit, that is so good. She's able to justify the value of her product. And so, and her lamp does not go out by night. So this is a woman who, she is prepared. Because back in those days, in order for them to have a lamp that lights up, they had to put oil in their lamps. And so if you didn't have no oil, your lamp wasn't going to come on. So this is a woman who she is watching and she's stewarding her resources, and she's constantly evaluating and making sure that she has enough so that she's not left with her lights being cut off, so that she's not left with bills unpaid, because she's a wise steward of the things that God has given her. The Lord is literally opening up the scriptures for y'all, like breaking bread with y'all right now. I hope y'all realize that. Oh, Lord, I thank you for the grace to teach, because, Lord, she stretches out her hands to the distaff and she holds her hands to the spindle. So it talks about how the woman was a seamstress, right? That means that her hands are not idle. She is not just sitting around with a bunch of time on her hands, calling up people on the phone, gossiping, talking about people, scrolling on Instagram, criticizing this person. She has got plenty to do and she's productive with her work. Then we have, she extends her, this is verse 20. She extends her hand to the poor, yet she reaches out her hands to the needy. So she's not a selfish woman. She understands that she's been blessed in this life to be a blessing. So she's not going to be stingy with her resources, with her gifts that God has given her. She's taking the time to share the wealth with other people. She's concerned about other people. She's compassionate because she has the heart of Christ in her. Okay, number 20, 21. She is not afraid of snow for her household, for all of her household is clothed with scarlet. So this is a woman who's, again, showing that she's prepared for every season. She doesn't have to worry about her house being cold in the snow, because God has given her the wisdom to prepare and to put, extra beddings on her family's beds, and to do all the things necessary, make sure that they have coats in the winter time. And she makes tapestry for herself. Her clothing is fine linen and purple. This is somebody who, all this stuff that she's doing, and yet she still takes the time to beautify herself. She still takes the time to look good. She still takes the time to dress nicely and to present herself well, because she knows that when she's doing that, she is literally a billboard of the Lord's glory. So when she looks beautiful, she's glorifying the Lord. Her husband is known in the gates, and when he sits among the elders of the land. So back in those days, the gates were places that people of influence would congregate at, the city gates. So when her husband being known at the gates, that means that he has a good reputation. And as a extension of her husband, she understands that her actions don't just come back on her, they come back on her husband. So she plays a part in him having a good reputation by carrying herself with decency, carrying herself with wisdom, and just making sure that she is integral in all of her dealings, so that when people see his wife, they only speak good of him, because they know that a woman of integrity is not going to be with a man without integrity, typically. So that's why she makes her husband known at the gates, and she's doing all these good works in the name of the Lord. And while she's doing that, chatter is going around town. You know how people talk, and people may be talking about the things that you're doing, and you might not even realize that you're being talked about in certain rooms. So they're saying, oh, look at her. I've been seeing all the good stuff she's been doing on Instagram, and she's got this group. She's having this women's conference, and I see that she's got this amazing boutique that has all these quality clothes, and and also she has these charities that she's giving to. Not saying that you got to do everything publicly for people to see, but when the Lord wants to highlight you, he's just going to highlight you. So we don't do everything just to be seen by people, but in this essence, her works are speaking for her. And so next we have verse 24. She makes linen garments and sells them, and supplies sashes for the merchants. So she studied, and she sees, and she's observing to see what there's a need for. Maybe in the clothing industry in that time, she's seeing that the clothes that people have been selling aren't that quality. Or maybe they are, and maybe God has just added her as another vessel, another willing vessel to the marketplace. And so she's resourceful, and her deeds are profitable. She's fruitful. She's doing all these things. She's selling clothes. She's providing food for her household. She's bringing the food from afar. She's supplying the sashes for the merchants. So she's not only the merchant selling the stuff, she's the vendor. So when you're the vendor for a product, that's stepping into a whole new level. That means that you're that girl, or, because I'm putting this on YouTube, or that man, that people are getting their supply from. So that means that you really have a good quality, sustainable product if the merchants are coming to buy your product. Multiple merchants. Think about it. Target, Macy's. All of these different places that supply clothes, and they're going to this one lady to get their textiles or their fabrics, fabrics. And so strength and honor are her clothing. She shall rejoice in time to come. So again, this is a woman who is a reflection of God, and because God has strength and God is honor itself, okay? She is just a reflection of her Father. And so 26, she opens her mouth with wisdom, and on her tongue is the law of kindness. So when she opens her mouth, she's not just speaking haphazardly. She's not just saying things that she know could really hurt somebody. She's not one of those sharp-tongued people who's looking to hurt people with her words. When she speaks, she's speaking with wisdom. She's speaking to encourage. She's speaking to motivate. She's speaking to exhort. And on her tongue is the law of kindness. So she's kind. She's not a mean girl. She's not spending her time gossiping, talking about people, criticizing people. Nothing but kind words coming out of her life. And even when those kind words come in the form of a rebuke. Let's talk about it, because sometimes you might need to sharpen your friends. Sometimes you got to be okay with letting your friends know, sis, I seen how you been acting lately, and this ain't it. You a woman of God now. We got to carry ourselves better than that. You're better than this. God has made you, and he has called you for such a time as this. And that's not to say you just go up and you just start being contentious, like you're being catty, and you're being catty on purpose, but you're using what the wisdom that God has given you to build up that woman, like I do with y'all. And so 27 says, she watched over the ways of her household and does not eat the bread of idleness. So this is not a woman who's going out in the streets and she's not caring for what God has given her. She's not caring for her home. This is a woman who's watching over the ways of her household. She's watching at what her children are doing, what they're watching, what they're saying, who their friends are. And she is vigilant. And she does not eat the bread of idleness. So again, she's not lazy. She's not sluggish. She's not a procrastinator. She is just very productive. And she uses what God has given her. 28, her children rise up and call her blessed. Her husband also, and he praises her. Many daughters have done well, but you excel them all. So again, this is a woman who, because of the good works that she's doing in the name of the Lord, and she's caring for her household so well, and she's making sure that her husband is taken care of, that he has everything that he needs, not because he can't care for himself, but because God has placed her in his life to be a blessing. So she's using what God has placed in her life to be a blessing unto her husband. So he's praising her. And her children are calling her blessed because, oh, she's the best mom ever. She always has the right thing to say to me. She's always making sure I have food, everything that I need. She's always giving me something that can help me in this life. She's always present. She's always at my games. She, as much as she can be. She's always helping me with my homework. And so we want to carry ourselves in a way that is honorable, that people would have good things to say about us. And so 30, charm is deceitful and beauty is passing, but a woman who fears the Lord, she shall be praised. So the Proverbs 31 woman, she fears the Lord, and that's the only way that she has the wisdom to do all of this stuff that she's doing. So charm is deceitful, beauty is passing. She's not just depending upon her personality. She's not just dependent upon how cute she is. She has real depth to her. She really has wisdom from the Lord. She really loves the Lord. And her gentle and quiet spirit, like the Bible puts it, speaks for her more than just her beauty. So she's not just known as that cute girl. She's known as that woman of God who fears the Lord. She always has a word of wisdom for you. She is always presenting herself in a classy way. She is always so humble. Every time you talk to her, she has a resource to help you. versus, oh, she's cute. See, one is shallow. One is looking just from the eye point of view, and one is looking from a deeper point of view. It's from insight. Then we have 31. Give her of the fruit of her hands, and let her own works praise her in the gates. So this is a woman who is benefiting from the fruit of her labor. And not just monetarily, but her reward in heaven is definitely stored up. God is definitely pleased with her. And also let her own works praise her in the gates. So she's not boasting in her own abilities. She's not boasting in everything that she's doing, but she is simply letting her work speak for her. So she's not telling everybody, oh yeah, I'm about to go into this. God just gave me this business idea and I'm about to do this and that. And I'm about to buy a store here and I'm about to buy a house here. She's letting her own works praise her. She's not recording every time that she gives money to a homeless person. She's letting her own works praise her. And so the Holy Spirit just really wanted to decode all of that for y'all, because in all that getting, get understanding.